These are the solutions to the third practice quiz for quiz 7 in Algebra 2 in the third trimester. Problem 1, the removal of outliers to the right would have what kind of effect on the mean? So it would move it to the left, closer to the median. So it would correct it. We mean left, closer to the median. So oftentimes that's what happens in a set of data. You find out you got an outlier and you pluck it out of there, and then it makes the mean and the median agree much, much more. The mean of the data set is well to the right of the median. What can be said about the data and the shape of the distribution? So there's an outlier, likely an outlier to the right. Or larger values to the right. And the data is skewed to the right. When we say skewed, we mean the mean is skewed to the right. Suppose a data set had outliers equally spaced to the left and the right with the same number of left outliers as right outliers. What would be an effect on the mean? There would be no effect, because now you have weights in both directions. That does matter though for the dispersion of data or the spread of data. But as far as skewing, you're kind of pulling equally in both directions. Okay, problem 4, same idea as I said in practice quiz 1. You just want to make sure you have all the weights times 0.2, 74 times 0.3, all divided by 1. And if you don't have all the weights, then you have to divide by the sum of the weights used. So 81.2 is your percent. So here again, we want to think of the sum over the count is the average. So the average of 6 numbers is 18. So 6 times 18 is 108. So 108 is the sum. When one number is removed, the average is 16. So we're down to 5, and that average is 16, and then 5 times 16 is 80. So what is the difference between 108 and 80? That is 28. Okay, here again, if you're not sure, we're still doing the sum over the count idea. So there's 8. We have 8-pound ducks. There's 55 of those. And we have 6-pound ducks. There's 77 of those. So how do we get a correct average? Well, we do 55 times 8 plus 77 times 6 over the count, which is 55 plus 77. Let me just do that real quick so I don't get that wrong. 132. And then that average is about 6.8 pounds. Again, you must get an answer between 6 and 8, closer to 6 than 8, and you're trying to make sense of that. Okay, two-way tables. Again, do 7D first. Given that they have a math grade less than 90, so we're restricting ourselves to just this row. So that means 60 is our total for the bottom. And so what percentage of students do not speak a foreign language? So we come down here, do not speak, that's 50 out of the 60. And that works out to be 83.3%. So do that one first, again, so you don't get that bottom number wrong. The rest of these are going to have bottom numbers of 145, a little bit bigger fraction space on 7B. So what percentage of students speak a foreign language? So I'm going to use a little highlighter here, bam, and have a math grade less than 90. We're concerned about that column and that row. Okay, so they intersect. So the and means pick the intersection. 10 of those. So this ends up being about 6.9%. Okay, now here we are going to go to the, so when we do this, we're going to go to the edges. So 80 of them speak a foreign language. 60 of them have a math grade less than 90, and we need to subtract 10 because in this 80 and this 60, we're counting the 10 twice. So now, again, you are working on the edges of the table to get your values. What percentage of students speak a foreign language? So 80 of them out of 145. It's 55.2%. So again, you're looking at the edges of the table to get your values for the numerator, and then the 10 is simply where they intersect, which is where you want to start with on 7A. All right, and then the last page, again, you want to go to Calculator Soup and get these values in there and get correct values for these. And you're not getting any points on these. This is just so that you can do your calculations below correctly. And I suppose if you're smart, you wouldn't need to even do all of these if I'm not giving points. You would only need the standard deviation, the median, and the mean. If you're only getting points on this below, just a thought there. Okay, in this column, 5.53, 9.1, kind of an oddball set of values, but a lot of times data is like that. 6.45, 22, 21.999529. You don't want to round the range. So the only thing that gets rounded here is the mean. You can round the mean. Everything else, do not round. I should have spoken that and the standard deviation you can round too. Everything else, do not round. All right, so we want to do these calculations, and then we want to answer problem 10 down there and make sure that we get that correct. So we want to do the mean minus the median over the mean. And again, just make it positive, minus the median over the mean. So 0.318 is that. Then you're going to do the same over here. We're going to get 0.166. So it looks like data set A is going to win that battle of skewing. And then on the second one, you can just use your straight division tool here, divided by the mean. So that's 1.414. And then this is 1.04. Let's do this. 5 divided by 1.040, I guess. And so it looks like A is going to win the argument. It's going to win the skewing and the dispersion competitions, I guess. So data set A is a worse set of data by a very little bit. If I asked you, okay, data set A, is it skewed to the right or to the left? You would compare the mean and the median, and you would see that the mean is to the right of the median, so that's skewed to the right. Data set B, you see the mean is to the left of the median, so that set is skewed to the left. Again, the median is the best statistical indicator of any data set. And so we want that mean to agree with it, and what's going to pull that mean left or right are our outliers. So skewed right, skewed left. If you were asked that question Just make sure you get all your calculations right and answer these right. So those are the solutions for the third practice quiz for quiz 7 in the third trimester of Algebra 2.